Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of BrightLearn, where we dive deep into stories that matter, stories that challenge the status quo, and stories that reveal the hidden truths of our world. Today, we're going to explore a tale that's as gripping as it is important, a story that takes us behind the closed doors of one of the world's largest pharmaceutical companies and into the life of a man who dared to stand up against the giants of Big Pharma. Our story begins in the summer of 2002, in the bustling city of Stockholm, Sweden. Picture this: a man named Peter Rost, a vice president of marketing at the pharmaceutical company Pharmacia, is sitting on an old wooden jetty, watching sailboats glide across the water. The sun is shining, and he's feeling pretty good about life. He's just made a big decision to recommend shutting down a project that's been a thorn in his side for years. But as he checks his voicemail, his world is turned upside down. The message is from Fred Hassan, Pharmacia's CEO, and it's not what he expects. Pfizer, the behemoth of the pharmaceutical world, is buying Pharmacia. And with that announcement, Peter's life and the lives of thousands of Pharmacia employees is about to change forever. Now, if you're old enough, you might remember where you were when you first heard about the 9/11 attacks or the devastation of Hurricane Katrina. But for Peter and his colleagues, the day Pfizer announced the takeover was just as unforgettable. It was a moment that would alter the course of their careers and, for many, their lives. Pfizer was known for its aggressive approach to acquisitions. They had a reputation for buying companies, absorbing their products, and then letting go of the employees. And Pharmacia's employees knew this. They had seen what happened to Warner Lambert after Pfizer took them over. The fear was palpable. But Fred Hassan, in his characteristic open and forthright style, tried to calm the storm. He explained that the deal was too good to pass up, with Pfizer offering a premium that was almost 40% over Pharmacia's current share price. He also assured employees that Pfizer's CEO, Hank McKinnell, had promised to keep an open mind about integrating Pharmacia's people into the new organization. But Peter and his colleagues weren't convinced. They had heard the horror stories about Pfizer's treatment of employees. And as the months went by, their fears were confirmed. Pfizer's management began to take over, and the atmosphere at Pharmacia changed dramatically. The once bustling offices, filled with energy and camaraderie, became tense and uncertain. Peter, however, wasn't one to sit back and watch. He was a man of action, and he decided to take a stand. He began to investigate some of the questionable practices he had noticed within Pharmacia, particularly in the marketing of Genotropin, a human growth hormone. What he discovered was shocking. He found that Pharmacia had been engaging in practices that were not only unethical, but potentially illegal. They were promoting Genotropin for off-label uses, like anti-aging, and offering incentives to doctors to prescribe the drug. This was a serious violation of FDA regulations. But Peter didn't stop there. He dug deeper and uncovered even more troubling information. He found evidence of channel stuffing, where Pharmacia was shipping more product to wholesalers than the market could bear, artificially inflating sales numbers. This practice is not only unethical, but can also be illegal if it involves misleading investors or regulators. Armed with this knowledge, Peter decided to take his concerns to Pfizer. He met with their legal team and laid out everything he had discovered. But instead of being thanked for his honesty, he was met with skepticism and hostility. Pfizer's lawyers were more interested in covering up the issues than addressing them. Feeling isolated and frustrated, Peter decided to take his story to the public. He started speaking out about the unethical practices he had witnessed, first in interviews with newspapers and then on television. His message was clear: the pharmaceutical industry needed to change, and the only way to do that was to shine a light on its darkest secrets. But speaking out came at a cost. Pfizer, feeling threatened by Peter's revelations, began to retaliate. They cut off his access to company resources, isolated him from his colleagues, and eventually fired him. But Peter didn't back down. He continued to speak out, even filing a whistleblower lawsuit against Pfizer. Peter's story is a powerful reminder of the importance of standing up for what's right, even when it's difficult. It's a story of courage, of fighting against corruption, and of the power of one person to make a difference. But it's also a story that raises important questions about the pharmaceutical industry and the way it operates. How many other companies are engaging in unethical practices? How many other employees are afraid to speak out for fear of retaliation? And what can we, as consumers, do to hold these companies accountable? As we wrap up this episode, I want to leave you with a few thoughts. First, if you're ever in a situation where you witness unethical behavior, remember that you have a choice. You can stay silent, or you can speak out. It won't be easy, but as Peter's story shows, it can make a difference. Second, let's not forget the power of the press. Journalists play a crucial role in uncovering the truth and holding powerful entities accountable. So, support your local newspapers and news outlets, and let's keep the pressure on those who try to hide the truth. And finally, let's remember that change is possible. It won't happen overnight, and it won't be easy, but if we work together, we can build a better, more ethical world. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I hope you'll join me next time as we continue to explore the stories that matter. Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and keep fighting the good fight.
This has been a BrightLearn video from BrightLearn.ai on the book The Whistleblower, Confessions of a Healthcare Hitman by Peter Rost. Visit BrightLearn.ai for more fascinating videos like this one, and visit naturalnews.com for full editorial coverage and breaking news on critical stories that keep you informed and aware of what's really going on.